Hello and welcome to the Fit for the Game podcast. Joining me this week is Strength Matters CEO and founder, James Breese. James is also a global keynote speaker on all matters fitness related. He's a very, very respected educator in the fitness space, has helped me become a far better coach, and he's also an avid hiker and cricket player. Today we'll be talking about accountability and how, with the help of a coach, you can stay on track with your goals, what it actually means to become an everyday athlete, and how you can eat for success. Welcome to the Long Game podcast, podcast about sustainable fitness. My guest today is the very wonderful Mr. James Breese, head honcho at Strength Matters. James, welcome to the podcast.
Gary, great to be here. I don't think I've been called wonderful by anybody for quite some time, but I deeply appreciate it. There
you go. Well, wonderful, funny enough, I wake up in the morning, I have a picture of you in my head. There's a word wonderful above that. That's the one I have. That's the one I have. James, let's get stuck in, particularly because we're based here in Germany. Would you like to tell the viewers a little bit about you, your own fitness journey, and how you ended up running a successful online fitness business?
Cool. Yeah, no, more than happy to. So yeah, it's a funny way. I didn't really start off in the fitness game whatsoever at all. Believe it or not, my degree was in French and German, and I spent a lot of time living in Germany, still do kind of, between there and Austria.
Grüß Gott.
Grüß Gott, servus, habe die Ehre. So, yes, I do speak a bit of German. Not like Gavin's though, who's been now institutionalized in German.
Yes.
Very much. But no, I do speak German too, and I spend a lot of time there whenever I can, to be honest with you. But no, it wasn't, fitness for me wasn't something I'd ever thought about as a career. It was more of something that was a hobby. Technically, I was an athlete playing cricket, rugby, football, growing up in Wales, which led me to doing ski seasons, led me to university, and led me to join the Metropolitan Police Force in London. For all my sins.
Caught by the fuzz.
Spending time in there, and believe it or not all police officers are fat and overweight. Yes, we do eat donuts and drink coffee all the time, but there's some of us who actually train. And then my passion for training happened when I was in the police, because the units I was in, we needed to be fit and healthy, and that's what happened. We ended up training people, injured a lot of people ourselves because we didn't know what we were doing. And I somehow managed to convince my bosses to pay for my personal training courses, and they very kindly shipped me around the world to go and do what I'm doing. Then economic crisis around 2008 happened. I started to fall out of love with the police a bit. So by 2012, just before the London Olympics, I escaped from Alcatraz, quite literally, set up my company. It literally was the case. Escaped just before the Olympics, set up the business, and haven't looked back ever since. So it's been fun. It's definitely a big passion of mine, and particularly helping people over 30, which is, I hope to say, is the most of your clientele that you work with too. And spreading the message ever since. Everything with Strength Matters and Fit Over 30 and everything else.
Yeah, I probably should say to the viewers here, I've known James for a long, long time, and he's probably, he would say we're both quite similar that way. We are evangelical about this sometimes, about the whole fitness thing. So please excuse us, viewers, if it goes off the rails. Now, here's a question for you. You're walking down the street, you're marching down the middle of the high street there around the corner, and you bump into an alien. How do you explain to the alien what fitness is?
I have never had anybody ask me like that.
There you go.
Wow. Okay. Well, how do I explain to an alien what fitness is? It is something that us crazy people like to do and consider fun. It can sometimes be painful. It can sometimes make us throw up in a bucket. And it can sometimes make us feel absolutely great. But here on Earth, it is something us crazy people in the last 100 years consider that it's something we should do on a daily basis, as opposed to hundreds of years ago when we wouldn't even consider working out for just the fun of it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like that. I think the alien might have a good grasp on it then. So you spoke to us about the various transition points in your life through your studies, also the fact that you were an athlete. Younger, you played multidiscipline sports, and then through the police. One of the interesting things there is what you said about the injured. If we talk about workplace injury, how does a big institution like the police, or how did it then deal with stuff like workplace injuries?
It didn't. I'll be honest. Like, it was more like we were left. Most of the guys were contracted to train an hour a day as part of their training. However, the issue was that we're left to their own devices. And if you leave a bunch of testosterone-fueled meatheads, I think is the best way to put it. I can say this. I was one of them. Yeah. Knuckle draggers is another term we tend to use for us guys. It is one of those. It is a recipe for disaster, because you're training together. You have your friends. You want to outbench each other. You want to out deadlift each other. Do all these wonderful things. There isn't really, there's no protocol. There's no right or wrong way in fitness, to be honest, to do things. There are good practices and good concepts we can all agree on. But that's the beauty of fitness, is it's different for everybody. Everyone has their own unique take. It's about finding what's right for you and that fits in with you and your lifestyle and your fun and your hobbies, essentially.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to hear you say that, because what you described there, if I didn't know it was to do with the police, it almost sounds like gym culture.
Yeah. Yep. There's no difference.
Yeah.
There's no difference. Like, from everything I've seen from the, I'll take this more towards the military side of things and law enforcement stuff that I've seen a lot of, and more. That's why I didn't grow up in the gyms, like in the Fitness First, or like the normal type of
chains,
gym chains anywhere at all. I grew up in that environment, the military police type environment, training. That's why I learned my trade. So it's the same thing, it's just slightly different in a nutshell. And most people don't know what they're doing. I was one of them. Like, it's taken this. I still don't know what I'm doing half the time, and I'm still learning.
But we're all learning.
I'm just not making as many mistakes as what I used to make. It's just an ever long cycle of learning about fitness, but we're all in the same boat. It never surprises me how many people don't know the basics of fitness, and it reminds me of how important the message of the basics of fitness really is for people.
Well, I'm going to take this as a segue. I want to take this as a segue. Sorry to break in there, but this was going to be my next question anyway. I promise you. You talked about the business, Strength Matters. Now I'm going to jump back to it later, because I'd love people to understand a little bit about how that progressed from as when you were a provider of, let's say, not things like equipment as well, but what you do now. The company, you talked about the everyday athlete. Can you explain to the viewers, first of all, the concept of what an everyday athlete is, and then if somebody comes to your company and wants to start getting fit using your help, what are the basics that you just described? What are the basics that you want people to start with?
Sure. So the way I describe an everyday athlete is that somebody who prioritizes a healthy and fulfilling lifestyle above anything else. It's not just about fitness for aesthetics or like looking good naked, even though most of us do want to look good naked. Secretly deep down, we look at the mirrors like, oh, we're a bit fat today. We all do it. But health comes first is our mantra. The idea of an everyday athlete is that someone can take on anything, do any challenge. What they can do one day, they're going to go for a run. Next day, they're going to lift some weights. Next day, they're going to go skiing, snowboarding. Whatever it is, they can do anything and live life to the fullest, which I think is a difference. Because a lot of people, particularly the gym culture, they just focus on getting strong for the gym. They don't think about outside life, where all the fun is. Yes, the gym is fun. It's a community of people getting together. But the best parts of life, like outside the gym, with family, friends, experiences. And not everybody is prepared for that. So this is where the concept of the everyday athlete lifestyle is. And for us, again, we love the gym work. But it's a tool for us to get better at the things outside of life. So when I strip it back to the basics of like people coming to work with us, I'll give you an example. We look at 3 things. And this is the first thing we tell anybody, like, what's your WWS? Which is walk, water, sleep. Are you walking 7,000 steps a day? Are you drinking 7 glasses of water a day? Are you sleeping 7 hours a night? If not, then no matter what training I do with you, we're going to have a problem. And you're not going to be able to perform anywhere, any shape or form. Now, in Germany, it's most people walk everywhere anyway. They have bikes in Hamburg too. You know, I remember walking out your gym once, and my God, I almost got run over by the bike highway.
Yeah, it's a bike-friendly city. It's more bike-friendly, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. So, like, Germans and Europeans walk more than our North American counterparts, where we do a lot of our work. But it's, you know, those are the essence. That's the essence of life. Drinking water, which you need to burn fat if you want to lose weight. Walking more so you can move more blood, move lymph throughout the body to help you feel better, remove toxins, and sleep. It's like the foundation. Like there's so many good reasons to sleep and walk beyond looking good and everything. It's like mental well-being. There's no point me listing them off. We all know them. But the point is, they're the basics that most people forget. And we bring people right back to that and understand, well, this is important because it's going to carry over better to your everyday quality of life. The gym is just 1 or 2 hours a week, maybe 3 hours if you're lucky as a busy person over 30. But the point is, like, keeping it simple, basics, focus on getting stronger and living better outside of the gym. And using the gym as the tool to help you to get there.
One of the truths is we all started out somewhere else in terms of our fitness. I think it's fair to say, whether in Germans here they talk about somebody being a fitness muffel or the innere Schweinehund. But generally, when we're younger, you've talked there about a 30-plus athlete. This is the sort of clientele that you're catering towards. It's certainly with here at Fit for the Game. We might even be a slightly higher, older demographic than that. But what do you see as the big differences between how people approach fitness, let's say when they're 19 or 20, and then what you see as people really aspiring towards when they get to 30 plus or 40 plus? What are the big differences? Sure.
There's a huge difference. Like one of the biggest reasons was for going for 30 plus. It wasn't just a business reason for doing it, because it was a business reason, because most people don't see the value of investing in their health until they get later on in life. The second reason was that I believe your 30s are your most important decade. It's where most people trip up on, because in your 20s, you can get away with nearly everything. You can almost get away with murder when it comes to your body. And also the mindset is different. Like not many people are married. Not many people have kids at this time. They want to look good naked. They want to pose and take their tops off. You know, it's a very aesthetic culture. And that's not a bad thing. It's just, that's where my mindset was, where most people were. Injuries don't really occur, and life hasn't really happened. You've got less stress. You're not sitting so much. Your work stresses aren't quite the same. But the older you get to 30s, which is, again, I say the most important decade, because that's when the real stress of work kicks in. That's when people begin to have families, and it all compacts. And the number of people who've come to me over the years and said to me, "Hey, James, I wish I started this sooner," when they're in their 50s and 60s. It just made me all realize that actually your 30s is your most important decade. I can compare that to me as well, because about 31, 32, I discovered this in Australia. That I went for a run with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and I realized I couldn't run anymore, because the type of training like powerlifting that I thought would be good for me. People said there's going to be really good for me, but in the end it wasn't. And I wasn't able to do the fun stuff. I stopped doing the fun stuff. Like, it was hurting to get out of bed in the morning because I was just lifting weights. It was hurting just to touch my toes or whatever it was. Like, there's little things that change. So the point is, like, when people in your 20s, you're not thinking about mobility, you're not thinking about health. You're just focusing on, I want to perform good. Can I look good for the Instagram? A little bit. But then your priorities shift and change the older you get. And the older you get, the more it comes about health and longevity. And that's the thing for me. Like, well, I still want to be doing the things I love doing the most. Bucket list idea for me is still snowboard when I'm 100 years old. You know, I've got to play the lottery.
And you're going to do it. You're going to do it.
I've got to play the genetic lottery to get there. But the point is, I'm going to give myself every opportunity to be able to do that. And that's not the same as going to the gym, lifting as hard as you can. You've got to stretch more. You've got to mobilize your joints more. You've got to walk more, look after your old ticker, look after your heart. A healthy heart is more important than anything else. It's a combination of things. And that's where we see things as an important stage of people's life. Your 30s plus, or helping people reclaim it back who are slightly older.
So you mentioned the I word, Instagram. Do you run an online training business? and you run, I can say from personal experience, because I've had, you came over here to us in Hamburg and you showed us behind, the Germans say, hinter die Kulissen, behind the curtains, so to speak. We've seen, and I understand your ethos. It's an amazing ethos that you work by, but you work exclusively, work online with clients. Now, lockdown, I think for all of us as coaches, as trainers, and particularly I'd say as people who put a value on training principles and longevity and sustainability, like this podcast is about sustainable fitness. You've probably also seen the darker side of online training and online fitness influencers. Yeah. Can you give us some examples? Let's say if people decide, okay, I want to look at online training. If somebody's looking for a good online training, what should they look for? And if somebody wants to avoid bogus or dodgy online training, what should they look for?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. So the biggest problem in fitness at the moment is the rise of the Instagram fitness influencer, who is between the ages of 18 and 24. And they're literally just using their body to sell fitness, because they're portraying fitness in this image of what it should look like. So they're using it to get paid, to push their shakes, push these green supplements, push their style of training. If you notice how every single one, male and female, shows their arse off first, they're always doing squats and lunges, and they're having the tightest little leggings and pants, so you can see exactly what's going on. But the problem with that is that they have no experience. They only know what works right for them. They haven't got a broad depth, which is sadly bringing down the good coaches in the industry who spent a decade plus of working with people to get the right message out. So the first thing is there's different types of online training. You have the basic form, PDF workouts, where you can download a workout, do it yourself at home, and that's what a lot of the Instagram influencers do. So that's a form of online training. There's another one where you get apps. You can download a fitness app, and then you follow along like a yoga app or something like that. Another great tool for using. They're very cheap. Both these methods are doing it here. And then the third one where coaches just send you, say they're doing online training, they send you spreadsheets and 3-week, 4-week, 12-week plans to follow along. You call it online training. But there's not much coaching going on here. So the differences here is like, well, anyone can buy a fitness plan online. People love buying new fitness plans, trying different fitness plans. But the problem is, though, it's not holding you accountable. So if you're going to find online coaching, you need to find people that are with you and are going to hold you accountable and not afraid to talk to you on a daily basis and say it's more than just the actual workout plan. It's fixing the things outside of it. Because workouts 3-5 times a week for 3-5 hours. What about the 160 hours else in the week that you have to deal with? So this is where you've got to find a good coach and a bad coach. Is that I'd argue that the best coaches will spend 80% of the time helping you work on things outside the gym, with the 20% inside the gym, and focusing on the habits to create sustainable, long-lasting change. So if they're giving you a workout within a day, they're not really looking at your fitness plans. They're not looking at assessing or seeing things going beyond there. So depending on where you're at, I would say invest wisely. Invest in your health. It's one of the best things you can invest for long-term health and longevity. But go for people of a similar age who've been around for quite some time and get the industry and have been there, seen it, done it before. That's my best.
It's all very well somebody sending you programs or sending you spreadsheets or even sending you videos, but I say the same thing from my own personal experience. At least 90% of people say the biggest problem is they can't stay accountable to themselves and they fall off the wagon quickly. So James has said, one of the biggest value added of having a good coach at your side is that they will hold you accountable. One of the things I always like to ask coaches who are working in the online space, how important is it for your clients to work on their time management?
Yeah, it depends. Again, everything depends in fitness. Like everyone's got a unique thing, but absolutely. Like I'll give an example of me. I have to schedule in to make sure I'm doing my workouts and have a routine about things. Otherwise, it doesn't get done because life happens. Like people pull you from all the time. So I know, for example, my workouts take place between 11 a.m. and say 1 p.m. It's blocked off every day. And I manage my time to go in there. Like fitness is my job, so I need to work out. So it's also my rest time and my free time. One of my coaches programs for me, so I don't think about. I've taken all my training off of my hands, so I can enjoy my fitness, get better results long term, be held accountable. But the time management is essential. I haven't got kids, but for people who've got kids, families, it must be a nightmare, particularly with lockdown and everything happening around the world. So you've got to. My consistency is the key. Same time, same place, every time you do it. Try and stick to that because that becomes a habit and it follows your more routine, which ties into the time management side of things. So absolutely, it's important, 100%. But it's got to start off somewhere and start off small.
You mentioned lockdown, so let's have a look at that because obviously it's a theme. It's really one of the truly global fitness themes in the last, I would say, in the last 100 years is where everybody is affected lockdown. When you look at your client base or people that you have regular contact with, what's the biggest challenge that your clients have faced in terms of maintaining or building fitness during lockdown?
Eating. I would say eating has become a habit. We've seen a lot of people put on weight. They're still training the same. Most of our clients work out from home anyway. But what's the change is their daily movement habits. So they're moving less. So people's average step count is down from say 10, 11,000 down to about 4,000 or 5,000. I can give a personal example with me. I track my food meticulously as part of what we're doing behind the scenes here. So I know what I'm eating every single day, calorie counts, everything. My normal eating level is 2,600 calories per day. I know that, okay? So I just know that inside out. I thought I'll just drop it down a little bit to 2,300 just to offset, because my steps have gone from 11,000 a day to 4,500 a day. I've still put on 2 kilos. I've put on 2 kilos in the last 4 months.
Amazing.
My training status, I'm still training as often. I'm not as strict with my eating because there's other things around. Sometimes you eat out of boredom a little bit and things at a time. But that's the biggest thing. People are still working out. They're not realizing the difference of lack of movement and being more sedentary, how that's impacting here. That's just my example. I've seen people who've put on 10 to 11 kilos who've come to us during a lockdown period. And again, they said, I'm still training, but I'm putting on weight. Or what's changed? I'm working from home. Okay, what else has changed at home? Or I'm not walking to the train station. I'm not commuting to work. And then you start to see a bigger picture of things like that. So that's the biggest challenge that I've seen with people. Yes, getting to the gym is hard, but you can find alternative methods. It's the change in the daily habits and routine that they have.
Have you any top tips that you recommend to your clients in terms of counterbalancing or counteracting the ill effects of home office? Is there any stuff you suggest?
Number one, schedule and program a daily walk, like routine. So like you would schedule your training plan, put in a 30-minute walk to get out of the house. Just go for a walk. We've done it for all our clients now to counteract this, and it seems to be working well. Some of them, we tell them to wear a weight vest and go for a walk for 30 minutes just to help out a little bit. Very simple, easy, not running, just walking. But with daily programming, yes, I'm going to walk for 30 minutes. I'm going to walk for 40 minutes and be held accountable by the coaches to go and do it. And again, tie then with the water, because sometimes you're more thirsty than hungry. So if you're drinking more water, stay hydrated, walk more. It kind of offsets a little bit of the boredom of eating, like boredom eating, and getting your steps back up to where it should be normally to balance things out. So that's super simple, just 2 top tips. Walk more, program a walk, and maybe focus on drinking more water throughout the day.
Now, I know you put massive stay in the importance of nutrition, as we do here. I mean, we have our nutritionist Yanis on board who works with the Fit for the Gamers. But What are the sort of things that you recommend on a basic level? Let's say for our viewers here who might be thinking, yeah, it's time for me to really get back on top of my eating, to get back in charge of it. What are the things that you recommend people should be looking at every day with their nutrition, the basics?
Sure. So like, there's two camps here, and it's important to understand which camp you're in as a human being, not as a coach or whatever at all, because every diet works. It's about finding the right diet that fits you and what it means to you culturally or anything else, or what feels right. There's no one right diet for everybody. So that's the most important thing, first and foremost. The second thing is that there's two camps of like calorie counting and not calorie counting. Okay. Calorie counting at the highest level works exceptionally well for people who like data, who can conceptualize it and see it as data and are okay with it. It doesn't work well for people who are scared of the scales, and it creates fear and anxiety about them. So you need to understand, are you a calorie counter or are you not a calorie counter? And then we can go into the right routes for that. Now, the biggest mistake I see with people make with nutrition across the board is that they actually don't know what their maintenance level of calories is. So they don't know how many calories they need just to stay the same weight and live a normal, healthy life. They guess. It's a lot of guesswork. Now, there's formulas and calculators you can use to guesstimate it, but the best I can give anybody is to spend about a month, if you're okay with it and it's not going to cause you any issues, right? Track your calories. Do some calculations. Don't use the online calculators that they have out there, because they usually tend to be wrong. But really ask one of your coaches to figure out what's your maintenance calories, and take time spending a month tracking those things, and see at the end of it, have I put on weight? Have I lost weight? Because from there, you can then determine what you need generally to lose weight and what you need to put on weight or stay the same. And become a better judge of your food after that. So it's not about eating more. Yes, you need to eat more protein, and whether it's more carbs, more fat, depends on you individually. But the point is, the biggest mistake I see people make time and time again is lack of understanding of how many calories they actually need. They usually say, "Oh, my friend Bob down the road says I need calories," when actually, in fact, you need 2,600. But your metabolism has slowed right down to a level where it's not going to take people up to become normal again. So I can go really in depth in this, but the point is try and keep it simple. Work out your maintenance calories with your coach, fit for the game, or anybody you can trust, and then go from there. And that's the best tip I can give you, if anything.
Okay, just to give people a synopsis there in terms of it, particularly if you're looking to manage your weight, if you're looking to drop weight or increase weight for whatever reason, is to look at this idea of your maintenance calories. Roughly how much food do you need each day just to keep you where you are? And I think James made a very, very valuable point there. If you have the temperament for it, if it's not going to freak you out, if it's not going to put you under too much pressure, is to maybe look at doing some kind of tracking for up to a month, so that you have data for yourself where you say, this is my body, my food, my activity levels. So I think that's super valuable knowledge bomb from James there. So watch that.
Just to say one thing, because one thing we've seen with our clients and people, we see two camps, mostly split between male and female, between the genders. Most males are significantly overeating from what their maintenance should be all the time. Females are significantly under eating for where they should be. So sometimes just bringing down to maintenance helps guys lose weight. But the problem we have sometimes with a lot of women is that we have to retrain their body to consume more calories. We can't just go, hey, you must eat this many calories straight away, extra, you're going to put on weight. So sometimes you're going to spend more time doing what we call a reverse diet to get them eating afterwards. So it does give you so much more information. Like afterwards. So.
What are three fundamental things, if we again talk about an everyday athlete, or let's say the fit for the gamers, we're looking at people who are not elite athlete level, who are, who have a dietitian working with them and a sports psychologist, whatever. They're just trying to work through life on their own. Give me three things which you recommend each everyday athlete could be doing to make their own fitness more sustainable.
Ooh, good question. Three things to make it more sustainable. What number one? I've said it before.
Yeah.
Go walking more. Go hiking. Go walk up mountains. Go enjoy yourself and get some fresh air. The wonders and benefits of walking up hills and mountains is huge.
Yeah.
Even for running. If you love running,
Yeah.
it's muscular endurance for your legs, right? It's one of the most important things you can do. And I'd say get out and do more. People don't do enough of it, if anything. Number two, find a hobby that you love outside the gym that involves fitness. So as an example, it's me is cricket. I love playing cricket. Wonderful.
Can I just explain for the Germans, cricket, that's where they have the funny long stick.
Yes.
And they wear white clothes, even though it's muddy.
Exactly.
Even though it's muddy. Who knows?
Exactly. It's the British version of baseball. I think that's the best way to better to put it. But find a sport that you love doing, because it's going to motivate you to do more work in the gym as well. So I'm never saying don't neglect. You need the gym to get strong, healthy, fit, get you ready for everything else life has to offer. But if you find a sport that has meaning to you, or a hobby that involves fitness that has meaning to you, you're going to be more successful long term because you equate the two together. You're not just going into the gym to lose weight or because you have to. You're going in there to start to perform better, to live and do the fun things in life, like your hobbies that you want to be. Could be snowboarding, could be skiing, whatever it is. Try and change it to that. And the third thing, be more social with it as well. Do the fun again, whether it's sport or whether it's in the gym. Be social, because fitness is fun. It should be fun. It's not a punishment. It's not a I must do things. You get to do fitness. It's a fun thing in life, and it makes up what I call the everyday athlete is part of the 10% who have this fitness bug in their DNA. The other 90% they just don't really do much exercise, but the 10% who go to train with Fit for the Game, listen to the podcast, do these things. They're in fitness because it's part of who they are. It's that they identify with it. But make things more sociable, because it just compounds the other two things back to back.
When you and I were talking offline, you were talking about with your cricket teams in Cardiff that they're talking about now having to expand the number of cricket teams. Can you explain to people what you feel the importance, now that we've been denied community, what's the importance of community and why does that affect our fitness?
I think now, like I said, using cricket as an example, like people who haven't played like at an amateur level are coming out of the woodwork because they're craving this social interaction. This social interaction that we've all missed. I've missed it. So I'm a little bit of an introvert. Sometimes I'm happy to be. I live in Ischgl on my own in the winters. I like snowboarding all day long. Like I'm okay in my own time, but at the same time, I crave company and being around people. It's just I miss teaching in front of people because it's just so much fun. So I think this is just emphasized the importance of how, even though we've gone completely digital around the world, how we're not going to get away from social interaction. How important it is to nurture our souls, I think.
Yes.
And I think more and more people are going to come back to the gyms when we can finally open and realize how important it is, and really spend more of your time in the moment, because and realize that it's less about on your phones, looking at your phone, typing away all day long. It's about being there in the moment, enjoying what we have, because you don't realize you don't realize how much you enjoy something until it's been taken away from you. You take it for granted, and I don't think people are going to ever forget that. People who've been through this lockdown, I don't think they ever want to go back to it ever again.
No, I'm with you on that one, brother. I'm with you on that one. Listen, we've now gotten you and I. We never struggled to talk for lengths of time, and we've done a pretty good job there of covering a bunch of time. So I'm going to move on to what we call our final five, our quick fire questions at the end. They're a little bit, it's maybe lighter hearted, but feel free to answer them succinctly, briefly, or take your time, whatever you like. So if you're okay, let's go with this one. What is one thing you absolutely love about your job?
The ability to meet so many new people and inspire so many people to do the things that I wish I knew 15, 20 years ago.
Super, magnificent answer. If you could have one superpower, and I'm talking here like Marvel style superpower, what superpower would it be?
Oh my God, that's a really good one. That is, oh my God. What would be my Marvel superpower? Do you know, I have to admit, I resonate with the old Captain America. kind of thing, like in some respect. Like, it's not superheroes, but strength, speed, running, jumping, chucking his big shield around. Like, I'm not Yeehaw America, but I kind of resonate with just like an average, everyday type of superhero type power.
Okay, we'll go with that. What activities help you personally to regenerate or fill up your cup?
Snowboarding, trail running, and cricket. Like, I'd say some of the best business decisions I've made in the last few years, because I'll put my snowboard stuff on, go out on my own for 3-4 hours in the morning and clear my head and like get the best business ideas I've ever had. So those snowboarding, because I just love the freedom of the mountains, going fast and doing jumps downhill. I love the exhilarating feeling of being in the mountains and trail running down like a little goat down the mountainside. Then cricket as well, as being with mates, and so I love the competitive nature. I love whip people out and stuff. So those are the 3 things I love the most.
Excellent. What is your favorite workout song or workout music when you're training?
Good question. Okay, so I'll go for two styles. When I'm doing mobility work or stretching, I absolutely love listening to some Tibetan Himalayan type music, like almost like, right? So I'll throw this curveball out there.
Respect.
So it's, I come across it years ago, but it just get into a flow, and it just you just lead from one to the other in a kind of like meditative kind of way. So it's not like just, I'm stretching. It's like, no, meditative, I'm rolling, I'm stretching, I'm moving forward in time with the music alongside Cirque du Soleil. So like there's a lot of Cirque du Soleil music.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I always remember looking back and going, some of the most strongest people I've ever seen perform, some of the bodyweight performers in Cirque du Soleil.
Amazing. And
so some of the music resonates with me with that. So that's the first thing. And second thing, if I'm lifting heavy or it is a little bit of rock music, like there's something about Rammstein, like if we're like those 2 things. I think classic German podcast, like talking about things that just help me as well. But I've got such an eclectic taste in music that I love.
The Germans will like that though. Rammstein. The fact that you mentioned Rammstein, I think you'll be getting thumbs up on that one. Final question. You'll just notice there's something with my light. Something's just disappeared into the darkness here. Last final 5 question. You are marooned on an island. What is the one piece of fitness equipment you'll have with you?
Kettlebell. I'll take a 24-kilo kettlebell with me.
Go on. The kettlebell. The king of the kettlebells.
It doesn't get cliched, but it doesn't get much better or simpler and easy from that. Plus, I can use it to throw at people and
ward off animals with.
Exactly, like wheel it around.
Oh, brilliant. So if people out in interweb land wanted to get in contact with you or catch up with you or follow you, on what are the best ways in terms of social media profiles or ways to get through to James?
Sure. If they want to, me personally, if they want to see what's going on in my life and see pictures of me playing guitar, being on the mountains or snowboarding, at James Breese on Instagram. Professionally, you can always get me on strengthmatters.com. That's how we do everything. We do a podcast too, Fit Over 30. We've got quite a few episodes on there. So just to connect, whatever works best for you guys. Happy to help. We're all in this together. So reach out to whatever best suits you.
Excellent. James, once again, a massive thanks for myself, from the viewers. Just so much stuff in that podcast, which if people even took 1 or 2 of those tips away, they could straight away improve their long-term fitness and become sustainably fit. Thank you so much, my friend. We will talk soon.
No worries. Thanks, mate. All the best.